So hi and welcome everybody. Welcome back to the wireless security in 5G systems. So the we talked about the 5G core technologies, uh, including virtualization, mobile edge computing, network slicing, network function, NFV, and software-defined networking. We mentioned that one of the key observations is the fact that softwareization is an old concept in IT, but it's something new in the 5G, in the telecom industry. So we came to the conclusion that the IT industry is more advanced. It's moving faster and more rapidly than the telecom industry. And the reason for that is the openness of the IT industry, while the telecom industry is somehow closed, where it's only the people working on the telecom companies can contribute and improve the systems. And also each company has its own hardware and usually its own software. So it's very hard to contribute from anybody who's external. Just the contribution is limited just to the people working within the company. So the ideas, the innovation, only restricted to the people working in the company. You can contribute and innovate to the 5G only if you are an employee in a 5G company that's developing the 5G. You cannot be like an external developer or somebody who's not working in the company and contribute or do anything. That's why IT is more advanced because it's open to everybody, not only to the ones working in companies, to anybody, even not employed. You can just pick a software project and just decide to improve it and make it better. That's why it's moving faster and it's improving very quickly. Anything that you want it to be improved quickly, either you hire very smart people to work on it or just make it open for people to contribute. And time has proven, experience has proven that making things open and motivate people to work on them can make development faster and can uh, make the innovation cycle much quicker. So now we talked about this in the previous part of the wireless security course. Now we will talk about the 5G privacy, which is a core requirement in any technology, in any communication system. Privacy is key. So particularly, we will discuss the user privacy, the privacy issues in 5G, privacy objectives in 5G, and the privacy protection mechanism. So, so in general, we will be covering the scenarios and solutions for 5G privacy. Before we get started, let's just define privacy, what privacy is. So basically, a privacy is the freedom from observation, intrusion, or attention of others. You don't want anybody to monitor you and see what you are doing and track you and then present you with ads that are exactly matching with what you have been looking for or what you have been doing or we call it your profile. So, as recognized by the United Nations and other governing organizations, privacy is a basic human right. Privacy rights are not obsolete. Society's needs sometimes trump individual privacy, which means that sometimes due to companies' requirements, due to government requirements, due to organization requirements, they ignore the privacy of the users because they want to monitor them, they want to know what they are doing, they want to see with whom they talk, what they do, what they serve, because these are information and this information can tell a lot about you. And based on this information, they can analyze you, they can understand you, they understand your personality, understand your shopping behavior, your interaction on social media, your personal, it's everything. So what's needed is a balance. Of course, there are things that you need to monitor users for to make sure that the community is safe, but also users also have the right to be private in some things. You cannot just keep monitoring them in each and everything they are doing online and just utilize this data and whatever they do online to just sell things to them by force or present them with things they don't like. So it's even I heard lately, like some people are okay with the ads that are being presented to them by Google, because they say that Google has become has developed so fast, and it has become so mature that it understands what you want. That even let's say even if you talk to your friend or your mother that I want to eat now pizza, and open your phone or Google, you will find that there are ads about pizza. I mean, if you just by talking, which means that not only they monitor your activities online, but also they monitor what you talk by just activating your mic without letting you know. And recently we heard that Apple users were complaining about the fact that their camera was open without their permission when they were using Facebook. So Facebook was using the camera, and so each once in a while we hear such stories regarding privacy, and they are scary. But like the users is the weak side of the game actually, because once everybody wants to use the applications like social media, communication, messaging networks. And as you know, when you just come and download the application, it just asks you and you approve it. You give them permission to access all your content, your contacts, your mic, your phone, your Wi-Fi, your ISSD, whatever you have. You allow them to access everything, and if you don't allow them, you just cannot use the software, cannot use the app. So, so uh, when it comes to the court, to the judges, they will say, like from law perspective, that you as a user, you have agreed on all these things before you start using the app. So why are you complaining that you are being tracked now? You don't have any right. And even sometimes when you go and you want to download a software or an app or buy from a software, they present you with a 10, 20 pages of service of agreement that nobody can have time to read it. And once you click OK, you don't have any right to sue any company or say that they exploited my data. It's that simple. So the user is the weak side of the game. He cannot do anything because he's in need of the company's services, including uh, social media services, messaging services, email services. Let me just ask you this question, if we want to be really transparent. How many of you are paying Google for the services you are using? How many? I'm sure none. None of you is paying a single penny to Google. So how do you expect a company, a great company like Google, to survive and pay thousands of its employees without getting any money from you? Google doesn't get money from people like you. Google gets money from the businesses that have the products and they want to sell it to you. And this is how this model has been functioning for the last 30 years, since 1990s, since the emergence of the internet. So this is the story. I mean, this is what's going on in the industry. So sometimes we blame, but I think we don't have the right to blame because we already need to use these applications. And when somebody asks me and tell me what's the solution, then I tell him the solution is simple. Use your own things, which means that you need to develop your own apps, your own hardware, your own software, and isolate yourself totally and use your own location system, your own whatever. Can you afford this? As a normal user, you can. If you cannot afford this, of course you cannot afford this, most of the people, then you are out. If you want to use this service and you cannot afford building it yourself, then you are giving up on your privacy. It's as simple as this. So that's why we see governments and military and VIP people use different networks and different apps than the normal people. They just use these apps for just the sake of interacting with their audience, but for their private communication, for private use, they don't use the applications that are being used by normal people. Like even look at the everybody knows that the United States of America President Trump, when he was tweeting, and all of a sudden his account was blocked, and then Facebook followed with that and they blocked his account, and then Shopify closed the stores of Trump. So imagine a president of a country, and he doesn't have full power on these things. I mean, the power is to the one who created these things. So you cannot do anything. You are a user, just normal user for them. When they receive an order, block certain accounts, they block. Each one knows that there are hundreds of Facebook accounts and Twitters and this. They are being blocked because they say things that some people, some organization don't want them to say. They just shut them down. So if you want to avoid these situations, then build your own app and build your own community around that app. Just if people like you, if people want you, if people want to get in touch with you, tell them, please, I use this app, use it. If they really love you and want you and need you, of course they will download the app and use it to contact you. And this app should be developed by you on an operate whatever, even the network. It's really difficult when you come and they try to make a complete robust security system against all attacks and the breaches and the privacy issues. So this is it for the privacy. So as humans are becoming a part of the always connected paradigm with more and more utilization of digital services in day-to-day life, it's challenging to ensure the privacy of users. So it's obvious. This statement clearly says that it's not possible with all means that the privacy of users can be ensured fully. There is no way. Moreover, the privacy awareness is significantly increasing among the users. Users becoming more aware day after day. In the old days, nobody cared. Everybody wanted to use the app. Everybody wanted to message. Everybody wanted to post on social media. Nobody cared. Nobody used. But like when WhatsApp like announced few months ago that they will be using your data, and if you don't allow, they will block, and this, I mean, it was really an alarming for users, for most of the users, and we all witnessed the move of the users from WhatsApp to other apps like Beeps, Signals, Telegram, and so on. So it's just competition for users, and the user is the weak side of the game, and he's always being exploited. And why? Because he's the weak side of the game. He's not the contributor. He's not the producer. He's the consumer. Consumer always a consumer. He has no power, but just to obey. And companies, and they make Of course, I mean, you don't pay anything to them, and they have the right to make money out of you because this is how they can survive. Why would they give you a free service if they are not getting anything in return? How they can pay their employees? And if you were them, you would do the same. So in present day, most of the mobile users are concerned and informed about their privacy. Yeah, informed, but not, I mean, someone informs you, but leaves you with no options but to use it. I mean, informs you with a contract of more than 20 pages that it's insane. Nobody can read it. Also, they are not downloading mobile applications while they don't trust, which they don't trust. Yes, but like if you need an app, you would definitely download it in most cases. Nonetheless, many mobile users are still not hesitating to store their personal information on mobile phones due to easy accessibility. That's fact. Everybody storing his private life on his mobile phone. He cannot even trust anybody to just touch his phone, thinking that if I hold my phone and nobody knows the password and everything, the data is mine, nobody can access it. Doesn't know that all the data in his phone is accessible by the companies providing the apps for him. Future mobile phones will have more personal information which must be protected. I don't know when these phones will be produced or will they ever allow these phones to be produced and manufactured, but let's see what the future will present to us. Moreover, the rise of the new architecture, new technologies, and new network services in 5G will have impact on privacy protection. Definitely, new architecture, new technologies, new apps, and this and that. I mean, more apps, more services, more this, you are more prone to privacy. So here we discussed the impact of these new 5G technologies such as software-defined network function virtualization, and the cloud computing. The most scary part of this is cloud. A cloud is becoming more important than the service provider itself. You are getting your internet from a Wi-Fi service provider or a telecom company or whatever. They provide the infrastructure for you and charge you for a certain amount of money. But in the future, after 10 years or this, the mobile networks will be worthless. The infrastructure, I mean. The most critical part will be the data, and the data in the hands of the cloud operators, cloud owners. And this is going to shift the game. And mobile operators who don't invest in cloud, they are gonna regret this in the future. So cloud is becoming more important than the infrastructure itself because it has all the data of the users, which means it has control. It has, I mean, it's really significantly much more important than the cables, than just cables and network. You just install it once and use it, but then what's the value of this? Just it provides you with the service, but what makes value to this service? Not the cable itself, not the internet itself, not the signal, not the Wi-Fi, not the content it provides, the applications, the software, the services, the things you use. What's the point of the internet if you cannot surf the web? What's the point of the internet if you cannot message someone? What's the point of the internet if you cannot make a video call? What's the point of the internet if you cannot socialize with people on social media networks or send a file or this? So what makes value for the internet is the content and the applications and softwares and services. Those are like the oil, the gasoline or the petrol of the car. Car is useless without fuel in it. The same with the internet. The infrastructure is useless without nice, beautiful applications and services that can attract and attach the users. So content and data is key here. Is really companies like Netflix are making more than hundreds of mobile operators. Just one company, Netflix, is going global, breaking all the borders, getting users from all around the world. With what? What's the service? Are they providing? What are they providing? They provide attractive content, video on demand, move without ads. That's it. So this brings value to the people more than this solid cables infrastructure that's meaningless if you don't utilize it effectively and efficiently. So user privacy of 5G mobile network can be divided into three main categories. One, data privacy, location privacy, and identity privacy. Look, so data privacy deals with the protection of your data when it's at rest, stored in your mobile phone or in the cloud, or the protection of your data when it's being transferred and transmitted and sent from point A to point B, from device A to device B over the network. This is what we mean by data privacy. So data privacy relates to data at rest and data in move. Data at rest, which is stored somewhere, mobile device, laptop, computer, hard drive, or cloud, and data in move, which means data being transferred or sent over the network. Location privacy is related to not allowing anybody to know where you are right now. And this is so critical because if they know where you are, they can. This is very critical information. Where you are, many things can be customized just for this one single information, the location. And you remember we mentioned in the previous slides that we need to balance things. There are things we can afford giving privacy to user. There are things we cannot. Location is one of the things that no company can ever tolerate. Every company provides you with any service wants your location. That's a prerequisite. That's like math 101 or like a prerequisite course to take the other course. It's definite. So location privacy is over. You cannot, as a user, you cannot say I don't want a company to know my location. It's out of question. Sometimes, unless you are like with respect to the internet provider, you can hide this information sometimes by using VPN, but with respect to the mobile operator, it's really difficult because the base station, when you talk to it, it needs to know your location. Otherwise, you cannot really communicate. And the third thing is identity privacy. And this also cannot be tolerated with respect to government. I mean, government needs to identify people by their information, data, and what they are doing and what they are dealing with. So identity is so critical to the governments and organizations. So the only one that user can gain some control over or a little bit be in more control of it is data privacy and not all of it. So data privacy. Data privacy represents protection of the confidentiality of stored user data or transmitted data. Data privacy and data protection are very closely interconnected, but that's not the same. Privacy concerns arise wherever personally identifiable information is collected, stored, or used. In a nutshell, data protection is about securing data against unauthorized access. Data privacy is about authorized access, who has it and who defines it. So this is the difference between data protection and data authorization. So this is related to the confidentiality part. We say encryption can help in providing privacy, but which type of privacy? Privacy when the data is being transmitted and communicated, or when the data is being stored in a certain device or certain storage. But like privacy means like you have this data. Who has control over it? Who can access it? Who can see it or look at it? This is how data privacy is different from data protection. Another way to look at it is this. Data protection is essentially a technical issue. Is how can you transmit the information from point A to point B securely without anybody eavesdropping it, without letting anybody to know what you have transmitted. Wherever data privacy is a legal one, I mean, nobody is allowed to access this, even if they have the technical capabilities. So it means that data privacy and data protection are related, but somehow dealing with different domains, one technical, one legal things. Location privacy represents protection of the confidentiality of the location of the user. Unauthorized persons should not get to know any information about the location. With the advent of 5G technology, location-based services are getting more important. You know these services, you know these apps and recent social networks that are location-driven, location-based. There is a company called in USA, I think, built a social media that depends on the location. Like when you make a tweet or when your tweet can reach just to the people within few miles away from you. So that's kind of they have found so many use cases for it, but because of privacy issues and the problems it created to the country and many things, the government found itself forced to just block this company and shut it down because it caused really severe harms to people. I mean, imagine someone just tweeting, he's in a university tweeting that there is an attack, someone will kill someone, someone will make an explosion or anything like this. Imagine the amount of horror, amount of I mean, amount of fear that it will spread in that region just because of one fake or joke, one fake post or one. And the problem with that app was it's anonymous. Even you are not being identified. They don't know your identity and who are you. So that app was really at the beginning a huge success, and then due to these issues, they closed the company behind the app, and they sold the technology to another company, as far as I know. So anyway, however, along with such kind of services, users would continuously tracked by various actors through their personal gadgets or devices embedded in the environment, and that could cause serious concerns to users' privacy. This is location. Identity privacy refers to protecting the identity information of the subscriber and the device, which is the user equipment. Using identities, services, and personal information can be accessed. For example, online applications such as healthcare require identity to access patient information, and online shopping or banking requires payment modes through some cards, which include identity information. So basically, when you deal with the government, with the banks, with the companies, with you, if they give you something that includes like your profile, your information that identifies you and who you are and what you do and your transaction, your communication, all these things. So this relates to identity privacy. As you can see, this is out of question. You cannot you cannot even ask to have privacy for this because this is how they know you. So for 5G privacy, the issues are going to be as follows. First, the first issue in the privacy related to 5G networks is responsibility, ambiguity, and loss of data ownership. Who owns what? Nobody knows. I mean, you generate the data, you send it, you store it in you are located in, let's say, X country, you generate data, then your data is being stored in a server located in Y country, and this server is being accessed by other users who are located in Z country, and this being redistributed to other users. So who owns what? Nobody. This is really now fuzzy. By law conflict, location of legal disputes, shared environments, different objectives for trust, loss of governance, loss of control for mobile operators specifically, visibility, transporter data flow, hacking, providing information for third party, end-to-end data confidentiality. All these are concerns, serious concerns. Specifically with just look and think of the clashes and the conflict that will happen between the mobile operators and the cloud operators. So the mobile operators has the infrastructure and the wireless interface to serve the mobile users who have the applications on their device, and with this application they can generate content. Let's say you are generating a video and uploading it to YouTube. Now, let's say the technology, the 5G technology, enable the users to upload the content. Okay, so and then the cloud stored the content. Now, the ownership of this video, how are you gonna manage it? Is it to the user who generated it? And then he used the mobile operator to transfer it and upload it and this, or is it for the mobile operator who allowed this video to be uploaded, or is it for the cloud operator who allowed this data to be stored? So how are they gonna share this ownership? Who's making the most profit out of it? And who's really, this is something that's gonna really completely change in the coming years. And serious competitions and serious conflicts will occur, specifically between mobile. For users, we know we are the weak side of the game, but for companies, mobile operators and the cloud operators, cloud owners, they will fight with each other. They will cause conflict. Eventually, mobile operators most probably are going to build their own cloud things. But since they are not international organizations with so many locations around the world, their cloud capabilities will be limited to the borders of their countries. So this is what I think will happen in the future. So I think we covered the most important things related to privacy issues. The following slides will give you more details about those points we mentioned here. But for now, I think we can stop here so that we can give you some time to present what you have, and we can continue next lecture. So thank you everybody for tuning up with us, and we can now listen to you and your presentation.